Hold on, just loading. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Ways. My name is Mohammed here with the co-host Osama. Make sure to follow us at Ways 2.0 on Instagram. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to every video. New episode every Wednesday, Ways Wednesday. If you want to listen to us, you can find us at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Anchor, other various platforms as well, including Spotify as well. Thank you so much for the love, support, and feedback. We plan to have on more guests, better episodes, better quality, and more content as we go along. Osama, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good, bro. How are you? I saw you
I'm...
yesterday, and I just want
yeah,
to
you
say
did.
that to everybody that's looking well. Mo looks tired. My brother put him through a workout.
The worst, bro.
Yeah,
This guy
but you know
hates
what?
you,
That
man.
workout. But nonetheless, we have a special guest today. His name is Khalil. Guys, I just want to tell. I was just telling him it was off camera. So I went on TikTok. I usually go on TikTok to see what's up, and I'm like, I hear an amazing voice. I'm like, I want to go back. And he's from local, from Toronto area. So I'm like, from Toronto, I gotta support my Toronto man. I gotta support my
Of
Toronto
course.
guys. I go and I'm like, this guy's voice is amazing, amazing sound, and I think he's gonna do it big. So Khalil, welcome to our podcast, bro.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you both. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
We're,
for
we're
coming on,
welcome.
man.
Absolutely, thank you.
How's your day so far?
It's good, you know. Like I was telling you guys off camera and whatnot. Just finishing up some stuff at the studio last night. So I was just wrapping that up late night, early morning. Wanted to make sure that, tapped in with you guys. I seen some of your podcasts after we chopped it up initially. You guys are doing a great job as well. So wanted to definitely tap in, connect, and level up together for real.
Thank you so
Honestly,
much.
I agree. Thank you, bro. It means a lot. And I want to start off. When did you start rapping? 'Cause, like, actually, I was reading an article about you on Emerge magazine, and it
Yeah.
says you started rapping in your like the first time was it in your high school?
Yeah, so a few people knew me from high school just because we had like little ciphers outside. So I kind of just did it more
Yeah,
for fun, just because it was enjoyable. I loved watching like those BET 106 in parks. So I kind of just partook in those at
Classic.
school. You know what I mean? But I
Yeah,
dropped my first song like second year of university just because I was like trying to get some stuff off my chest. So I just figured out how to record it all on like a Bluetooth or no, a USB mic, and then just like literally mixed it quickly, sent it out, and then did the promo myself. So I would say like 5 years.
so 5 years you've actually been like making music.
Yeah. Like that's when it started. Like 'cause people ask me all the time, like, how'd you learn or where did you learn? It's just really over
Yeah.
time. Like every year was a different progression. But I would say like I first hit the button and first started, I would say like 20 years old. So 5 years, yeah.
Oh wow. So what
it's
was it for? What
amazing.
was it? That's amazing, by the way. That's dedication right there. And I was gonna say,
Appreciate
what
it.
was the first song you made?
Yeah, so that song was called Life of Lies. And it was just a song about like, how like both sides of the team will constantly lie just
Yeah.
to make the situation better for themselves. In a nutshell, if you will. And yeah, I just recorded it in my room. Like I didn't really have the proper setup at the time, but I had the idea and I thought that that was the most important. And so I would just record it on like one of those like Blue Yeti USB mics, some Beats headphones,
Yeah.
and then I mixed it on some like random speakers and just stayed up till like 4 a.m. until it was done and then
Yeah.
just released it and then kind of came up with my own release strategy and then it ended up kind of working and trickled off from there.
I actually listened to that song Life of Lies, and the one I guess lyric that stuck with me is like, I have a question. Would you be in love with the real me if I didn't have this
Mm,
profession? And that stuck with me
yeah.
because a lot of the times, like whether it's relationships or friends, like a lot of people do end up switching up on you. That's how I kind of
For
felt with that
sure.
with that lyric.
For sure.
Yeah.
Question I have
Definitely
for
agree.
you. Like you said, you started 5 years ago, right? And obviously,
Hmm.
like it could be anything, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or an entertainer, sports, an athlete. Like when you're young, you have all the ambition, all the excitement in the world, and then once you start
Hmm.
going, and once you realize how much it's gonna take to actually make it, a lot of people give up. It's been 5 years. Obviously, your sound has matured, has evolved, and you've gotten better over time. What makes you still go 5 years later? Like, did you ever think to yourself,
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm not getting enough numbers, so I'm gonna quit, or I'm not meeting the right people in the industry, I'm gonna quit, or like, I don't know, I'm just down and stuff. Like, what makes you keep going as if it's your first day of recording that song?
Yeah. You're definitely right. Like as time keeps going on and on, I think just naturally as humans, we start to question ourselves, like if we're doing the right thing, or even if like the right thing, but are you moving in the right progression? Are you moving in the right space? And so yeah, I've definitely had those nights. I'm talking with my homies and whatnot as to like, okay, like I don't think I'm doing this right, or taking too long, because a lot of my counterparts who I know personally, they're getting signed and whatnot. And honestly, I think it's really just a matter of sticking to the grind, staying humble, and realizing that everyone's time comes at a different, like at a different time, if you will. And realizing that sometimes too, like you may not, like it's hard to pill to swallow, but you may not be ready at that time, right? So you have to look at it like in the sense of, how would I put this? Like if I were to be presented to the person that I want to link up with 3 years ago, would I be ready at that time, or is the music I'm making now, like will that actually amaze them versus a couple of years back? And I think I'm more comfortable with the later than back in the day, just because like you said, my sound's matured,
Mm,
my music's evolved, the way I get everything done is matured, and it also turns you into the person that like in a nutshell, like it turns you into the plug as opposed to looking for the plug. So,
of
to make
course.
a longer answer longer, initially I was just having struggles like mixing, and
Yeah,
then it became a struggle finding production. Then it was a struggle, like for example, connecting with the right people to get on Spotify playlists, all that and this and the third. And then just over time,
Yeah.
like I've always been a very self-sufficient person, so I just figured out how to actually mix. Like I went to school for it, figured out how to produce. I had to learn like a new software for that. The PR, I had to figure that out as well. So it turned me more so into someone who's even more self-sufficient, so that I will bring more value to the table when it's my time to blow.
that's amazing. And like just like hearing your answer, there's so much knowledge and wisdom, just understanding like pretty much you've explained and taken in over the past 5 years as far as your experiences. I want to know is like the fact that you're saying like when it's your time obviously. So until then, keep doing what you're gonna do, and obviously when the opportunity presents itself, not only you're ready, but you're confident because you're doing everything in every field. You're pretty much a one man army, obviously, like you explained. Were you
Mm-hmm.
always like this grounded and I guess humbled in a way before you started the progress, or were you kind of like outgoing on the edge and kind of life just humbled you and stuff? So you realize, you know what, I gotta fall back and I gotta wait for my opportunity and stuff.
Yeah, I would say I was always kind of very observant of what's going on and very aware, but I didn't understand. And as we all know, as you keep getting into business and, pardon me, into your profession, you start to realize certain things. So for me, the biggest realization was that um, when you're first starting, you think that just great music or a great image or great timing will take you to the top, and you don't realize the amount of things that are really put into it, whether it be money, whether it be PR, whether it be playlisting, whether it be the connections you already have. And so I think over that journey, it just further instills that there's so many key pieces that need to be involved for you to even get one kind of a hit, if you know what I mean, even if the music is already amazing, right? So even if the product's amazing, you have to have so many things moving at the right speed and right timing. And I think that's what really kind of humbled me, if you will.
Hmm.
Because before I was humble in the sense that, okay, I know it'll take time, but now I'm understanding that the timing is not always in my control.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. No, that's
Yeah,
dope. Like just to hear you talk about it, explain the process, because as we all know, like young entrepreneurs, young artists and stuff, they feel as if they could do as they please, and they feel as if they can have
exactly.
it when they want. Because obviously the product is good. If your music is amazing, if people are telling you, and you're meeting different people in the industry, like yo, you're dope and stuff, you feel as if you could just
Hmm.
press the button. So therefore, all the like the love and the acknowledgments and the accomplishments will come that way. But there's a process, right? And once you
Hmm.
understand the process and you're more understanding of how long it's gonna take as far as the pathway, the more easier it is as far as what's gonna come with it, right? But the more you're just like,
Exactly.
hey man, like I don't think I can do this, or like rah rah rah, like I want more problems you have in the future, and obviously it's gonna put a cease to your actual career. So I love your answer, bro. It's amazing observation, like you said.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I'm reading the article, and it says, which kind of stuck with me, but you said recognition was important for you, but so was
Hmm.
authenticity. So you want to speak about that?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, in that previous interview, basically they were asking me to say a very similar question, like, do numbers matter? And
Yeah.
the short and long answer of it is like, yes, numbers matter, but numbers more so matter just because with larger numbers comes larger groups of people who are willing to take a chance on you. So that's what I meant
Mm.
by the recognition portion. But authenticity matters because, as everybody knows, when you're trying to create a product and it's very much so based on creativity, that can also, especially when it comes to, like, for example, TikTok, rely like your numbers rely on how creative you are, but also how close to trends you're sticking with. And the problem is that sometimes if you're not very much grounded, and you're always coming out of a space of growing and not necessarily just coming out of a space of pure authenticity, you kind of get lost
Yeah.
in that and you lose your sense of authenticity. And so I think both are very, very important. So I try to make sure that every time I do something, it's still authentic to the core, but it still
Yeah.
falls on those various trends or what's popping right now.
It's almost like that quote that it kind of resonates with me is it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. And essentially, like you being authentic to your viewers and
Exactly.
to your fans, like is really important because like they want to see the same person on at his music or at his creation as he would be normal with his boys or like his friends. And
For sure.
being important is also has responsibility on us, which I totally agree with your answer because I feel like you want that importance because you want to change the world and change the culture, right? And I believe and I love
Hmm.
that answer. I feel a lot of creators who I've personally met don't have that. Some of them just don't have that. Like I felt like
Hmm.
I was almost. So it's not like I'm not dissing them. I just see like your videos and your personality don't match up. So I feel like they're playing two parts.
I hear you. I hear you. It can be tricky.
Yeah, it definitely is a tricky world.
One thing I want to ask you is, obviously, like your artistry is pretty sick. It's dope. Like Osama said, unique sound, unique personality. Like it all stands out. Growing up, like what kind of person were you in school? Were you the kind of person that would like sing in the hallways and stuff, or sing to yourself and stuff? I noticed that you joined the ciphers. Obviously, like 106 and Park. We used to watch that back in the days. What kind of
For
person were
sure.
you? Like, were you like the creative kid? You used to sketch, draw doodles in class. Like, what kind of person were you in school growing up?
Yeah, in school, I would say I was definitely like a very like outgoing, like happy-go-lucky person. Like I'm a private person, but I'm a very personal person, and so that would reflect in like the way I communicate with people. But I was definitely cool with just for the most part everybody, like all the different cliques, all the different people. You know what I mean? I'm just more so about like, as cliche as it sounds, like spreading that positivity and just because you never know how someone else's day is going to be affected by you just saying that hello or the good morning or opening the door. Those thank yous, the little small nuances that sometimes we often miss. But yeah, I was very just like personal, but I was also like to myself and linking with tons of people. And then yeah, just pretty much just playing sports like the regular type of kid. You know what I mean? Nothing too serious.
Mo, can you relate?
I can relate. We're pretty much the same person, right? Growing up, like,
I'm
just
just
happy
playing.
go lucky, having fun, and just
I'm just playing.
creative. We used to do it all the time in class. We know Salma, man, just cause trouble. We're troublemakers,
Yeah,
essentially, right? So,
Don't
we
kill
were
me.
troublemakers. Yeah,
yeah,
because we
man,
go
we're just troublemakers.
me and Muhammad go back to like grade one. So I feel
Oh
honestly, I feel
wow.
like yeah, bro. It's been that's how long I've known him.
20 years,
But
20 years.
20 years, it's insane. It's insane to see like when you say you know someone for 20 years, it's just insane just to think about it. But I want to go back to what you
Fat.
said, Muhammad. Is I always knew I wasn't gonna do this 9 to 5 kind of stuff because I always found myself different. Like I was like I would be doodling in class or like drawing with this guy like stick figures or like whatever, or we'd be laughing at the random stuff. Like the teacher would be teaching a lesson and we're like in our own zone doing whatever, and
That's
they'll be like,
jokes.
and they'll be like, "Yo, Osama Muhammad, what's the question? Or what's the answer, sorry?" And I'll be like, "I don't know, bro. We're not even paying attention to you." In my head, I'm just creating. But I
That's
do want to
funny.
ask to you because I saw you said Party Next Door is one of your inspirations, right?
Yeah.
So, is there any other artist aside from Party who inspires you to make music?
Yeah, like the most I would say that you'll hear in the music, like influentially, or I don't know how's the word, but influence wise,
Yeah.
uh, is Tory. Like, of course, Drake, like, is super inspirational. Just hearing his versatility and just hearing how he puts things together. But the people that
Hmm.
I studied the most growing up, and specifically like watched, interacted with, and like kind of studied how they did stuff, was Tory, and then right after Party. But because Party's from like Saga. I definitely take a lot of remnants from Party, but those two, pardon me,
I
those
got
two for sure.
when I heard your song, I tried. The first person I thought
Hmm.
was like sounds. It sounds like a party song. I'm like, if Party was on
Yeah,
this song, I'm like, this song would be just like amazing.
for
Man, when
sure.
Tori first came out, And like you said, like
telling
obviously
you.
Drake is Drake, and what he did, obviously we give that up. When Toy first came out, and his sound, the rapping and the singing, and how he tapped into it and created his own lane, I told
Facts.
myself like, bro, I cannot become a rapper because this guy, like, I have to compete with this guy. Like, oh my god,
Who
bro,
Drake?
this
Are you
no
talking about Drake?
I'm telling you.
Oh,
Man,
Tory. Yeah, yeah.
Tory, bro,
But I honestly,
Tory's that
Yeah.
dude. But that's dope that
th-
he's an influencer.
that, and also I want to say, your music feels like I listen to like songs like I Tried, Rain and Shine. It's one of my favorite songs, by the way. Rain and Shine has such a sick melody
Appreciate
to
you.
it. I was like, I put that
Appreciate
song
that.
on repeat, and there's I think Untitled and Life of Lies. I listen to those three songs, but I feel like they all just like they don't sound different. Like they all sound different. They don't sound the same. Like all different vibe. It makes you feel a certain different way. And the lyrics is also what gets to me. Like for example, like I tried. You said, travel through time, the night, time sipping white wine, baby, I lied because I know how you feel inside. Like lyrics like that makes me feel like, bro, this is a night vibe, it's a midday vibe, and a day vibe. In my, I'm just like, bro,
That's what's
I've been
up.
yesterday I was working out with these guys, like with my friend and Mohammed, and I was just like
Yeah,
playing
you're
that
playing
in
it.
my headphones. He can
That's
attest to it. I
crazy.
was
That's
playing
what's
it. There
up.
you go.
I appreciate that for real.
Yeah, but
And
I
like,
can. I'll, yeah, sorry, I have to go bed.
no, go ahead. Ask after.
No, no, no. You go ahead, bro.
No, like obviously, like you said, like Ozan's been bumping your tracks the past like 2 weeks. So we've been listening to all your songs, and like you said, like you're able to create different vibes and obviously different muses and different feelings, and it's obviously amazing to see artists do that because it's pretty rare, obviously. And the goal is to stand out as much as you can with who you are, your image, your branding, and just the sound that you have. And 100% you're doing that. I give it up. Um,
Appreciate it.
Explain the process in the studio because obviously everyone has a different process. Some people like to
Hmm.
put up the beat first, let that marinate for a little bit, and then if the idea comes to them, then they'll obviously write the lyrics and stuff, and then lay the track down. Or some people like do the lyrics first. Obviously, have like a book of notes or lyrics, and then if you hear the right beat, it might correlate, and through that. So, what's your process?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely changed like over the years. When I used to start, like when I first started, it was more so freestyle.
Yeah. So yeah, what I was pretty much saying was like, obviously, everyone has a different process in the studio. Some artists
Hmm.
like to hear the beat first, then they write the lyrics to it, and then obviously they lay the track down. Some other people already have like a handbook full of notes and lyrics and different compositions, and they can't really
Hmm.
find that sound until they hear that perfect beat or that inspiration, and then they write the perfect track. How's the process for you in the studio? If we're in the
Okay.
beginning
Yeah.
versus now.
Cool. In the beginning, it was more so like with the very first song I freestyle, and then just punched in. So I just punched in like line by line and whatever felt right or whatever came to mind. And it took me like a couple hours to do. And then as I started getting better, I would start writing because I would go to the studio to record and have an engineer mix it for me. So I would come prepared with just some lines and stuff like that, and really just try to like what my goal was is to like really paint a picture. So in a nutshell, I was trying to basically just create a sonic movie. So when you listen to it, it gives you a certain vibe, but at the same time, you also like if you were to close your eyes and listen to the words, you can almost envision what I was saying like physically or visually. Now, just because I know how to mix myself and whatnot, I feel like it's most catchy and most fluid if I freestyle. So for the last like 2 years, I haven't written anything down. I don't have any lyrics. I just basically punch in line by line type of thing, and try to just do the best that I can with creating that visually because it's happening on the go. But just pay attention to the melody. And yeah, the beats always pulled up first. Like I beat. Some of them I produce myself, so I kind of already have an idea after I finish producing it. Others I just kind of get off YouTube, and then if I get like writer's block, I'll just go on YouTube, go on Netflix, and then watch a show. Like a little key I've been doing is I'll watch a show or a YouTube video or whatever. And oftentimes in life, we draw inspiration from things we don't even think about. So in a show, the female lead might say a line that's super powerful, and that might spark an idea for the hook, and then I can take it away from there. And that's pretty much what I've been doing recently.
It's actually
Oh,
amazing,
that's
bro.
dope, man.
It's actually amazing
Appreciate it.
because like I like how you said sometimes we get inspired just like something like sometimes it's not an actual inspiration like not actual inspiration, but sometimes like you're watching a movie, someone says something that resonates with
Hmm.
you, and you're like, and you feel inspired. Like there's actually times with like project with me and Mohammed where I like there's a certain part that we're working on actually that I'm not sure what I was doing, but someone said something, and I'm like, yo, we're
Hmm.
doing this, and I told and he's like, bro, I like it. Let's actually work on this project. which I love because I feel like sometimes no matter how motivational you are, no matter how much how strong your drive is, we all need
Hmm.
inspiration sometimes. And I feel like
Facts.
inspiring each other is the best thing that we can do.
Agreed. Definitely agreed. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's
Inspiration
how I
comes at
feel.
its own timing.
100%. And I feel like a lot of people they try to go like, yo, I'm gonna get expired right now. Like inspiration doesn't have an actual time limit. Like can happen spontaneously.
For sure. For sure. I actually listened to a good book once. I don't know if you guys know the guy, Eric Thomas, I believe his name was.
Eric Thomas,
And he
yeah.
said a
Yes.
crazy, yeah, he was like, oh no, it wasn't Eric Thomas, it was someone else on like Instagram. But the point was, he said that inspiration basically comes at its own timing, but motivation is what you can create every single day. So you kind of have to play with the two. You're not always going to feel inspired, but you can always motivate yourself to do something.
And that's
And
the
so that
hardest
for me
part,
was
man.
a game changer.
And that's the hardest part because a
Facts.
lot of people, a lot of the times, when they don't feel motivated, they feel like they don't have to do anything. But the hardest part is motivating yourself to do that. Like for example, like your music, you're like sometimes for you it's like, oh, I need to record a song. Like having that drive, something like motivation comes within. It's not like sometimes it can be your friend who motivates you. Sometimes it can be whatever. And I feel like
Facts.
you able to motivate yourself if someone giving you that motivation, you going through it is the hardest thing to do and to stick with. And I feel for any creator out there, like myself or even Khalil could agree to this, and even Mohammed, our like my advice would be to like a lot of people is just like the times where you need it the most, the hardest times are the times you have to get up and do the actual creation.
Facts. 100%. Consistency definitely brings the gold medals. You know what I mean? Because no one's behind you coaching those days when you decide you have to get
Yeah,
up and go get it, right? And those are the days that the
exactly.
extra couple reps that count.
Facts,
That's
facts,
so true.
facts.
That's so true. I have a question for you. So, what's
Sure.
your favorite song that you made thus far? What's the song that means to you the
Oh,
most? Like this song is like, because you have a lot of like, good songs, bro. So I want to see like what song means the most to you.
I have a couple unreleased ones that I think were pretty cool, and I'm gonna be dropping this year. But
Okay.
on
I
like
can't wait, bro.
public, appreciate it. On public platforms, I definitely would say like probably a tie between like Life of Lies or I Tried, just because they're both sonically and like storytelling wise in this boat. And I think that
Yeah.
I did a pretty good job of melodically like pleasing the listener, but as well as painting an image. Like you could kind of close your eyes and sit there and kind of envision what's going on.
So for you, I love how you said that, by the way. But also, like, so you as an artist,
Hmm.
what do you want your viewers to feel like? Your audience, like, what do you want them to feel with your music? What's your message
Yeah,
like through all your?
I think it's a tie between a couple things. Like one, I want them to feel constantly entertained. So like we talked about the trends, and I think that comes from the melodic piece. So me just changing up the melodics, finding new pockets. Pardon me. And then lyrics wise, I want them to do two things. And I never talked about this before, but do two things. One, I want them to envision what it was like for me, if that's how they're feeling. So if they're more so in the concept of trying to watch a movie, they can close their eyes and listen what it was like for me. But if
Yeah.
they're in the space in which they're trying to feel motivated and inspired, or trying to feel like there's a bigger picture connected within them or with them, sorry, they can close their eyes and envision a very similar scenario for them with the same lyrics. So those are the three things that I'm really just trying to tackle in every song.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have a very big girl audience, obviously, right? Because the art, music, and the
Something
sound, the
like that.
melodies, and everything.
You can't
You know,
complain,
like
bro.
in, oh yeah, of course, I want to complain either. I want the same for ways, you know. But obviously, like in the beginning, you make your tracks based on what you feel and what you're going through, and like you said, you want the
Hmm.
listener to experience it and see the overall picture with the vision and the themes with containing to the lyrics. Now, as
Hmm.
you go along, I'm pretty sure you're probably doing a good job with engagement with your audience. So just hearing from them, their thoughts and their stories. Have you gotten like any like thank yous and like how your music has helped someone's life and stuff, whether in like in school or college, at jobs,
Yeah,
like from men and women?
I have, and it's always a trip when I hear it because I kind of just more so write it to get it off my chest and to do the other things that I've mentioned. But because I'm definitely like a micro influencer or a micro creator, like I'm on a very like smaller tier. I never expect that I'm gonna bump into someone, whether it be like DM, FaceTime, phone call, in person, that will actually like listen to my music and on top of that tell me about it. Because some people will listen and just obviously keep their opinions to themselves, which I could respect. But yeah, I've had a couple times like years ago when I was working like retail and I was like in the middle of my job and someone's like, "Oh, hey, I've heard like your music, I know you, I've seen you on Spotify or whatever, like your music's amazing." Or other times where I've gotten random DMs where someone told me like this record like got me through a hard time. I was like, "Oh, like I didn't like, you know what I mean? I didn't even really realize." I've had other people who just say like aside from the music, like thanks for responding to my DM or whatever, like I really appreciate it. I was going through like a tough week, or they watch my stories or the TikTok. I go on TikTok live pretty often now, so they say they love the energy just because like it's something that uplifts them. So like little things like that, I probably take for granted because I'm just not taking in that it might change someone's day or perspective. But I always just make sure I take time to like first and foremost thank them for letting me know because they don't have to do so, and not everyone will always tell you. But music wise, yeah, it's definitely been a game changer. Like it motivates me differently when I hear that because then it's like, okay, it's obviously important to somebody, so let me try to make sure it's even better next time, type of thing.
Man. That's incredible. Beautiful answer. And obviously, that's what you want, right? Just to hear from the
For
people.
sure.
And you never know how big your impact is going to be. Like, you just wrote that song on that day to a particular feeling or a certain event, and that song just changed someone's life, for that, like you said, for that week and that moment. And when you hear it back, it's incredible, right? So that's something that we all
Exactly.
strive for as creators.
Facts.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, is when your friends, it's different when your friends tell you because your friends are always gonna be biased, no matter how good your song, no matter how bad just like your song, or no matter how bad the podcast. Even with our friends, like sometimes I tell them like, guys, you gotta be honest with me, Mo, because if sometimes like we're so critical on like I think you're always critical on yourself
Hmm.
more because you want your best product. I always tell people like don't be scared. Like if there's something wrong, let me know because I'm not trying to give out garbage to people. Like I want people to like
I feel
obviously
you.
love this, right? And it's different when you have your people who don't even know you like, across the world saying, "Hey, like this means the world to me. Like this is how I felt this past day." Because it makes you feel like you're touching someone else who you don't even know, and
Hmm.
it's almost a sense of inspiration as well. Because like I touched a couple people. Imagine what you could do with the millions around the world who still yet have
Facts.
heard haven't heard your like your podcast or music or whatever it may be. So that always drives me.
Facts. For sure. No, it definitely is a game changer.
One thing I actually wanted to ask you, obviously with COVID, from this year and last year, a lot of concerts have slowed down for big and also smaller entertainers and artists.
Hmm.
Were you actually doing shows before COVID? And obviously, if you were, are you really excited to actually go out and start doing shows maybe later on this year and beginning of next year just to reconnect with your audience live?
The reason why
Yeah.
is because we want to come to your show.
Are you gonna pay
Appreciate
Osama?
that.
Sorry,
Are you gonna pay?
100%, bro. I gotta support. I gotta support the homies.
All right, that's cool.
Much love. Honestly, I haven't really had any shows because, like I said, I'm a relatively smaller influencer and smaller creator. And then honestly, just for 2021, because it's almost up like 6 months, and then 2022, I probably won't even have any, just because right now I'm focusing on just writing for other people. So I'm kind of pivoting as to what I'm doing. I'm still gonna be dropping tons of content, and that's kind of like why I enjoy platforms like TikTok and things like that, because it lets me connect on like a one-to-one basis. But realistically, like I've been just working with some bigger artists, kind of trying to get my name out there, but as well as really try to do what I can, like bring my talents and skills to the table to up their content. And so I've been just writing a bunch of different records like pop, writing like more dancehall influence, Afro beats, R&B, trap, stuff that like I haven't ever released. So I'll release some of it for sure. But yeah, like I don't think I'm gonna be having a like any sort of shows. If I do, it'll probably be like one show with a very small capacity, like 100 people, just so that like everyone can kind of feel the energy, close knit. Everyone can kind of put faces to names and stuff like that. And then I would
Yeah.
probably personally message people. But I think that probably be the only show that I have for 2021 and 2022.
Hmm. No, that makes sense. And like you said, amazing to hear that you're diversifying your talents and your gift,
Yeah,
right? So besides making music for yourself, you're doing it for other artists and different genres as well. So that's only pushing you creatively and mentally, and obviously you're gonna make amazing body of work. And only gives you a bigger name and platform in the public as well behind the scenes. So that's really cool to know that.
appreciate that. No, that's what's up.
Actually, you know what? I have another question. I
Mhm.
obviously a lot of people talk about top five, whether it's top five rappers or album rappers, R&B artists, and all that stuff. I want to know your top five albums from R&B artists. Top
Oh,
five albums.
top five
That's tough.
albums.
Because your style is really
Uh,
unique. So I really want to know what is his top five R&B albums. You can do 10 if you want, but I'd love to know. So give me like a better like
cool.
clarity as far as your influences.
Um, top five for sure. Like I would say P3. So Party Next Door's P3 was crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not the greatest at albums, so I think it's like Nothing Was the Same, where Drake was looking at himself,
Mm-hmm.
like in the album cover. That was
Classic.
crazy to me. Memories Don't Die by Tory Lanez. That was a
Talk
big
about
one
it.
for me.
That's a classic.
Talk about it. Tough. Tough.
Who else had some crazy albums? Um, the problem is I don't really listen to albums as much. I just like literally delete half the album, listen to the singles. But R&B wise, who else had a crazy one? 'Cause I'm thinking of like a couple old school people I listen to. I'm trying to remember their names of the actual album, like 1990s, early 2000s. Um, I might have to come back to you with the other two, but it's just more so like I'm trying to get back into the Bryson, of course, Bryson
Trap
Trap
Soul.
Soul. That was
Oh,
crazy. That was insane, and probably realistically, like in a more nuanced setting, like Black, the Bear, Black Bear, that one. Those were definitely like for
What,
me, those molded my sound.
one of my favorite artists.
Facts. Facts, super
So
fires.
he's
I
so
just
good.
underrated. Like, I know they're all booming, but I still think underrated in the sense that like they could offer so much more, given like more time was given to them, right? Or they have like an
I agree.
unlimited budget, or you know what I'm saying, unlimited reins on the project.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
So just give me 1 second.
no stress.
Anyways, Khaliowe, I want to thank you for coming on, bro. We appreciate it. I know it was like short notice. I want to say short notice,
No, no,
and we never. I know we never got to go on an actual conference like a meeting, but I love the podcast. I honestly I want to tell everybody from our viewers across the world, please go check out Khaliowe. We'll put you in our bio. I'll put you on my Instagram. I'll shout you out again.
appreciate
Um,
you.
yeah, man. I'm hoping to hear some new songs because there's bangers. The one that I've heard are bangers. I can only imagine what you have going forward. And if you do have a show, let me know, and I'll definitely be there to support you. Mohammed,
Got you.
any last words? No. I think his parents are just cooking. But
Oh,
with
okay.
that being
Yeah,
said,
no
yes,
worries.
sir. Respect,
Got
and we
you.
hope to see you again, bro.
Yeah, yeah, of course. We'll definitely do a part two in a few months'
For
time.
sure. Absolutely. Sounds good.
All right, much love. Thank you, gentlemen.
Much
Appreciate
love.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Deuce.